Hello, you're about to listen to this week's episode of Sofa Cinema Club. Just before we get started, this is your reminder to go and follow or subscribe to us wherever you are listening to this podcast. All the support is greatly appreciated. Now, it's time to enjoy this week's episode. Hello and welcome back to Sofa Cinema Club. I'm Colson Smith, and as always, I'm joined by
Jack P. Shepherd,
Ben Valentine.
The Sofa Cinema Club is our podcast where we get together to educate each other on films. Now it is all about the films we should have seen, but we haven't. Each week we set a film for the others to watch, then we come into the studio and we talk what we loved, hated and rated about the film. Now the beauty of our film club is that anyone can join in. All you have to do is watch along at home and then join us every Thursday to find out what we thought of the film. This week's film has been chosen by Mr. Ben Price, and it is Licorice Pizza.
Not a classic, no?
No, not a classic.
Apparently not. I think we can see where Colson's rating's going already, can't we?
Before we get into talking all things Licorice Pizza, as always, how's your week been? What have you been up to? But before we get into that, boys, people are going to be listening to this on the way to Manchester.
On the way, yeah. Is it tonight?
Tonight. We're on stage tonight.
Oh, so they might be listening to the show driving here. Okay, yeah.
Or driving home afterwards.
It's
Hang on,
shit.
I need more.
I need more. I want more.
I need more. Get it on. Let's start from episode 1.
What is our final word for the people who are joining us tonight then?
Hold on tight.
It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Brace yourself.
You brace yourself.
If they're at home now, Ben, listening to this, before they set off for the show, what do they need to bring? What are the key things that you've got to bring?
Lots of drink.
The more you drink, the better we get.
Yeah. Bring your phone. You actually might need that.
You do need your phone.
Funnily enough.
Bring a sense of fun.
Bring your sense of humour. Yeah, I was going to say that because you're going to need it, because at times it might be ropey.
Look, the great thing is you're going to get what you always get from us. You're not going to get any surprises. It's going to be a bang-on show of what we do and have been doing for the last 4 years. With some obviously added stuff in.
We've just been having a chat before we came into the studio to record about quite what is going to be on offer tonight, what the show is going to involve. Jack, how are you feeling ahead of it?
Well, I suppose there's a few surprises from all of us, isn't there? So you've got a couple of surprises up your sleeve for me and Ben, and Ben's the same for us. And I've got a couple of things that I've planned that you two are not aware of. So yeah, there's going to be it's going to be interesting for all of us, even us three on stage, really.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have the entire, all 500 people at the Lowry singing Conrad Gates, 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 Conrad Gates, 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 when we're breaking the world record of keepy uppies on stage.
That's the surprise. Everyone thought I couldn't play football, but he can.
Ben, are you ready?
I was just thinking, actually, am I ready? In one way, we're very ready. Because we've been preparing this for a long time by doing this show. We know what works and what doesn't work and what the audience like. In another way, it's a very, very big step up. It's a big theatre. There's like nearly 500 people there. It's a big move for us. So what's so strange is we do this on Zoom, we do it in the studio. We don't get a real feeling, do we, of how many people listen, how many tens of thousands of people listen. You suddenly go to a theatre and then you realise what sections people like, the stories we've told, you get that feedback.
It's normally just a number that we see on like the analytics of the show, whereas the beauty of the live show is you get to meet some of the people, some of the names from Patreon, some of the people who get in touch with us on social media about the show, and you kind of see them, and that's the bit that's exciting, isn't it? Knowing that the three of us are putting a show on that we're really proud of for people who actually really like what we do.
Yes.
You also can't overplan because, in a sense, what our podcast is, it's conversation, and we can't completely rehearse conversation.
No.
So we can only plan so much, and then we're just going to have to turn up on the night. And
also some of it, because it is us, some of it, we enjoy the audience, don't we? We enjoy someone piping in with something they think about or suggestions on the top 5 or whatever it is.
So Jack said that this podcast is about conversation. Ben, you told us that you have got a brilliant animal encounter.
Ooh, I don't think it's brilliant. But it's interesting. I think it's a slight... We've all got dogs, haven't we, in our lives? So I think it's a conversation. Anyway, right. I'm with Star. We're out and about. We did park, which was interesting. She's not sure about park. She doesn't understand what rules are.
On lead, off lead?
She's always off lead in park because she come back really well. But there's balls flying around. There's other dogs, and other dogs are a bit nervous.
Does she ever go for other dogs?
No, but so the trouble people have is that they go, oh, she's so sweet, and they go, oh, sorry, you've got to be careful of what their dog might be big, and go over to her, and I go, no, be all right, be fine, and their dog can get a bit boisterous. Well, she'll turn around and tell them. She definitely wouldn't go for a dog, but she won't be pushed around. She knows what she likes. Anyway, so we took her to park, and then I thought, we did a bit of park, and I thought, do you know what? Going back to the woods. So it's me and her, and there's a track. And you're coming back from the woods. Now, the track, really only one of you can pass. It's not an easy... You got to stop to the side and pass.
This isn't where that Norwegian cat had that face-off with you, is it?
He hasn't gone back there since.
Oh, my word, I haven't told you.
You've seen it again?
I've seen it again. It was on the fence, and it just stood there. We was with Start. It was on the fence looking at us, and I think it had killed a bird.
Cats kill birds all the time, but this one had killed a vulture.
It's like, yeah.
A heron.
It was sort of spying this bird. There's a bird over by in the field, and the bird didn't look like it was moving, and the cat was just...
I was on top.
Was on top. It was one of those moments I was seeing live in the wild. It's a big number, but I was like, come on, Star, don't look. And the cat's like, yeah, you'll get it next price. It's so creepy.
So you're on a single file track.
We're on a single file track, right. So we've got a dog off. We've got Coco. I've never met this dog before, but the dog was called Coco. The lad was going, come on, Coco. I'm like, funny. So we've got Coco off a lead. Then we've got this greyhound in the middle. Then we've got Star. Now, Star I'll go, come here. She'll just follow me with a chew, whatever. Coco's all over the place. Coco's in the wood all over the place. He's walking. But this little greyhound dog is a puppy. It's like a mix, and it's barking, but it's like up for a bit of, a play. I get walking. Coco goes past. Star comes up, and she's on she puts the dog on the lead. So I thought, I'll put Star on the lead. Maybe it's a bit nervous and whatever. And I get up closer to this woman, and she's really upset. She's like almost crying. I'm like, oh, are you okay? She went, well, I've just been to the park. We went to the park and we were shouted at. I said, what do you mean you were shouted at? Well, the dog's a puppy and it loves to play in it. So, when they do that play bark, it's not like a aggressive bark. Like a yap, like talking.
Yeah.
Well, it did it to this red setter, and the woman tore her apart. Put your dog on a lead. Your dog shouldn't be off the lead and whatever. And the woman... So we had this meeting in the middle of the forest, and I went, we had to have a little 5 minutes.
Did you give her a hug?
Well, I didn't go that far. But I said, well, let's let them off the lead now, and they can have a little play around. Star be great. And they had a little play, and it was barking, it was enjoying it. She said, I'm too nervous to go to the park, so I've just got to go to the woods now. I was like,
What are you like with random strangers, Jack? Because obviously Ben there has just give us a tale of how he's good in those sort of conversations. I know that I'm not good, and I've seen Ben I've been in the car with Ben, and Ben has pulled the car over next to someone to tell him that he really likes the hair colour. I can't do that. I panic.
I'm not known for doing that. But I've got the shades on, haven't I?
Afterwards, I'm always like, I should have done that because that's a really nice thing to do.
He's approachable, though, because he gives eye contact, doesn't he?
Love it.
Do you ever put yourself in a situation and then get yourself out of it because you're anxious or you're panicking or you're stressed, and then you think, I wish I'd have just...
Hang on, so your animal encounter is you were looking after this woman who were upset because she'd been told off because her dog were barking?
Well, there's obviously the huge puma-like cat that's killed a bird and is looking at me like going, your next price. I mean, I think that cat literally looks at me like, eventually, one day, you'll be on your own. You won't have that dog, and when you're on your own, I'm going to get you. Because she's not going to muck around with stars, but I could have you. That's what the cat said.
It'd be a right documentary, wouldn't it? Whatever happened to actor Ben Price?
Yeah, well, we saw him on the track. Then the Norwegian forest cat got him. So the second animal encounter was, what do you feel like if you've got a dog? So you must get this a lot with your dogs.
Oh, okay, I see.
And a dog barks, or it gets a bit tense between dogs, or another owner has a go at you. Where are you on that?
I can completely see both sides in a way. Your dog has to be on a lead, but then also, if the time's right and you can take the dog off the lead, you can take the dog off the lead. However, if that dog starts barking and starts having a go at other dogs, the owner's in the wrong. It's the gauntlet you run, taking the dog off the lead to let the dog go and have a bit more of a freedom play, fine. But as soon as it gets out of line, you're 100% to blame because your dog's off the lead.
Once, this must have been like 10 years ago, when I was a really little kid, the lad who used to run the cricket club before me, there was a dog on field, yeah? And he's gone as Mickey's gone, "Oi, can't they read? Look at the sign." And the sign says, "Please keep dogs off the field." And this lad just goes back to him, classic Yorkshire, classic cats, goes, "Hey, I can read, but my dog can't," and just walked off. So Friday, big day of TV, because we had obviously, this morning we're at Coronation Street, and in the morning I'm on Jeremy Vine. So it was kind of a pre-record. And as I'm on Jeremy Vine, Ben, you'll love this. Just on, and it's a panel, and then I was on the Zoom. So I'm on this section, it's like 20 minutes long. So it's my face on a big screen, like joining the panel, basically, talking telly. I was talking about the podcast, I was talking about the Lion King, etc. This woman starts having a nosebleed.
Mid-Zoom?
No, she's a panelist. She's on the show.
Live.
Oh.
So she starts having a nosebleed, blood dripping everywhere. I can't hold it in. I'm laughing. I mean, what am I meant to do? So I'm on the Zoom screen laughing. And then Jeremy Vine's trying to carry on. And Jeremy Vine goes, "Why don't you just clear the set? Just clear the set." And then she goes, yeah. And she goes, I can't. I've broke my foot. Jeremy's like, what? I've broke my foot. Where are my crutches? So I'm gone. I'm on this Zoom laughing my head off. Like, I can't get my head around what's going on with this woman.
She can't get offset.
She can't get offset because she's broke her foot, and she's having a nosebleed all over her white top.
And what time's this? Like 8:30 in the morning
yeah.
or something?
But yeah, anyway, Jack, so after I've done Jeremy Vine and had the nosebleed, that just shows me how live TV can go. And then we headed to this morning for the Coronation Street takeover.
Which was good, which was fine.
Yeah, and you were a prime feature.
Yeah, they wanted me to... Well, because I met Prince Charles when he first arrived, didn't
King
I?
Charles.
20-odd years ago. King Charles, sorry, yeah. So they wanted to make reference to that, and they had clips of that and everything, so that's why I had, like, a bit of interview.
Good photo of you and T.
Yeah, good photo of me.
It was.
And T,
when it came down. When it came down.
Ooh. We were in the green room.
Good? But it's proper live, as in, it was a great show. It was a great event. It was fun to be part of. But it hammered it down, and it was being filmed outside. And luckily... we'd both been released for a little bit, hadn't we? All three of us were in the green room.
But they were trying to get me back out.
And we were watching it on TV.
And I was like, yeah, I'm going out in a minute. I'm just looking at that big fucking black cloud that's coming over.
Bouncing. The keys was... Yeah. The water level was rising as we were watching.
Yeah.
Coming inside.
Fully came down.
Red flag on the keys.
Yeah. Get off the water.
Even that swan was like, I've had this off.
But yeah, great fun. It was one of them random days at work, wasn't it?
It was a random day, but I mean, we had 3 units filming that day, which means what are units then? So I mean, that's 12 episodes we were filming that day, isn't it?
Yeah.
As well as
a live production
ITV
on top
this
of it.
morning had come up, for a live production.
So the other thing we did with our coronation weekend was the 3 of us all sat down separately to watch Licorice Pizza for this week's episode. Ben, it's your film choice, which means you get to give us a synopsis.
Licorice Pizza. Alana Kane, and Gary Valentine fall in love and muck around in the San Fernando Valley in 1973?
What do you think, Jack?
I think that gives a false sense of the plot, actually.
Why? What do you mean? Hold on, I haven't turned around and gone, the creepiest love story ever
I think
told.
it's sort of a young boy's fascination with an older woman growing up in the 70s in... Is it like LA, California?
Yeah, the Valley, yeah.
Cobra Kai territory, innit?
Yeah.
I think it's not just so much a rom-com.
Oh, there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there. I don't think it's just built on his fascination for her, because it's based on a true guy, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Gary Valentine. Great name, by the way.
Great name.
First off, what a name.
Well, you put Valentine with anything and it goes.
Colson Valentine.
Maybe not that.
Philip
Maybe
Seymour,
not
no,
that.
Colson Valentine. God, two made-up names. Cooper Hoffman, son of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Jack, your girlfriend is a big fan of the band, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. Haim.
Yeah. So they're all in it, all the sisters, aren't they?
All the sisters are in it, and they all play sisters.
Well, they all know Paul Thomas Anderson. Fun fact, it's also kind of based on the Haim band's mother, Donna Haim. She was Paul Thomas Anderson's primary school teacher in real life. And when he was growing up at school, he had a bit of a crush on her. He fancied Donna Haim.
Who's in the film?
Who's in the film? Yeah. Who's the... Yeah.
Is she Gary Valentine's mum?
No. You know when they're having the meal, all three girls with the new boyfriend?
Yeah.
So it's a mum and dad. That's
their
the Haim
parents.
sister. It's a mum and
Yeah,
dad.
in real
The
life.
dad's good.
Yeah, Dad's brilliant.
Very good.
That's brilliant. And yeah, so it's kind of mixed with that story. And it's also kind of based on Gary Goetzman, who was a movie producer, who was like a bit of a child actor. And as he was making the transition from child actor to what he wanted to do in life, which he eventually became a movie producer, he did sell waterbeds in downtown LA. And he also had like a pinball machine, like arcade. So they're all sort of like stories and scenarios.
Loosely based on...
that he sort of encountered. And yeah, he also had a bit of a crush on the Haim, Donna
Mother.
Haim. Yeah, mother.
So, second time I watched this, what about you two?
Same, second.
I've seen it I think third or fourth, I think. My brother lives very, very close to where it's all set. So he used to live in Sherman Oaks, which is what he says. Now my brother's moved to Studio City. But the Valley in the 70s was very different. So the Valley was like, you weren't in Hollywood. You weren't in West Hollywood. You were in the Valley. It was sort of seen as like, not as good. Like, oh, you're in the... Because the Valley is massive. So there was a real thing about being in the Valley. And then my brother said that loads of the places, like the high school and the bar and whatever, they haven't changed. I think the bar's gone now, but there are loads of the other places that are still there. So it is his childhood. It's Paul Thomas Anderson's childhood.
Did you see that fact about the radio station that they did? What is it? The radio interviewing? I think they go on the radio or something at some point in the film. That radio station, that 70s radio station, does look like that now, today. And they actually were able to record in there because although the radio station and all the bits of something, what you can record in there, the building is not allowed to be changed. So whoever owns the building won't change whatever's in the building. So that's exactly what it looks like now. So it hasn't been decorated or anything since the 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's how they were able to film in a building somewhere in LA that still looks like the 70s.
Yeah.
So when this film came out, which it was kind of running at the cinema this time last year, wasn't it?
21.
21, yeah.
It kind of divided opinion because of, obviously, the context of the story, which is, you know, it's a love story between an old woman and a younger man. She is 25, he is 15. Now, one thing that I don't quite understand is they're both brilliant, yeah? But I almost think it's badly casted.
In what way?
I think they're both brilliant, as in they're both unbelievable performances. But I don't think it doesn't show that age gap.
You don't think he looks 15?
No. And I don't think she looks 25 compared to him.
But she's not. She's actually 28 in the film.
She's 31 now, I think. She's 31. I know what you're saying, because he's only... I think he probably would have been...
About 17, maybe.
17 when he filmed it, and she must have been 26, 27. I think he's kept it
28,
reasonably close to their age. I don't think it's about that.
I think the age difference and the age gap that the actors actually were is genuine. I think there is like 10 years between them, but I think he's moved it further back to make it so further out of reach. So if he was 18 and she was 28, it would have been more socially acceptable than 15 to 25. I think that's why he's probably moved it back.
But also I think it was to give the feeling that Gary Valentine was a kid, because he'd grown up having such a big career, a young career. By the time he got to 15, he was already this guy who was trying pinballs, waterbeds. That was the feeling. And that she was working for that school photographer at the top. So I think that it was to get that feeling that Gary was this kind of, as you could be in that time in LA. It all felt like, because you've got to remember, everything they're seeing is the business. In the 70s, it's all business, still is. So he was massive, and he'd made his own money, and his mum was his publicist. So it was to get that feeling that he was old beyond his years, I think.
Yeah, that's the bit, is it didn't, he was too mature.
But that's the point.
But you were quite mature though, Coles, even when you were like 18.
Yeah, completely. I was very similar to him.
Yeah, so why are you saying it, you won't believe? Are you trying to say there's no one else like you in the world?
No, I just didn't.
Colson Valentine.
I don't know. It's really weird, this one, because when I watched this film the first time round, I really liked it. And then this time round, I thought it were a bit different.
That beginning, when he's sort of like asking her out on a date in the line.
In the queue,
the queue. That's sort of true as well. He was in LA and he was writing this film and trying to come up with an idea for this film. And he'd sort of got writer's block and it had stopped. And he saw this school and a queue for like high school things, and he was walking past and he saw one student in the line trying to hit on a staff member. So it's like a 15-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid trying to hit on a staff member who's like 20 odd, like nearly 30. And obviously she's like shooing him away type thing. But he just thought, oh God, what an interesting situation it would be if a young kid was to ask out someone who's like over 10 years older than them on a date, and they actually turned up to the date. Wouldn't that be like a fascinating story? And then he put up that story in with all these other stories he'd heard of about downtown LA in the 70s, and then all the dots kind of like connected up, and he was like, maybe there's a film there. And he completely binned his idea that he was working on with this film because he couldn't get the ideas, and everything started to come to the surface on this other film. And he was like, oh, I'll do that one then, and I'll shelve the other one.
So do you think he's meant to be that kind of old beyond his time sort of character?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Well, the whole point is straight away, he's got his own money. So when he goes to the bar and he goes, well, that's my regular bar, and they go, 2 Cokes, he knows everyone, and then the guy always gives him the same table. So it's a bit like Gary Valentine is the 25-year-old of his time.
Yeah.
He's that guy. He's the guy who got fame on I Love Lucy, because they show those kids, don't they? I mean, there's so many things in it. He's a kid. He's employed as a kid.
I love when he hits her over the head with that fucking pillar on stage.
On stage.
Yeah, and she goes like, cut the shit, Valentine. Stop me.
And then you see, I mean, what's so interesting is, I suppose, is that you see his casting has changed. He's become too old for his casting, and then he's gone, oh, fuck. My acting career could be over. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to... Because that's classic LA. You were the hot shit. Like Lance, when he gives it the beans on the plane, doesn't he? I'm the hot shit.
I'm flying business.
Yeah.
What's it like back here? Did you get the steak back here? Yeah.
And then they do that interview and they go, you know, what have you been up to? And Lance says, I've done the guest part in this and guest part in that. And Gary just goes, 3 beavers.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, Gary, he's outgrown it. You start to see that entrepreneur kind of side of him, I suppose, that Gary has that, like, he's old, way old beyond his years. And she says it when she meets him, I'm not going out with you. No way. But there's something about him. And actually, she's in a dead-end job, isn't she?
Kind of leads me on nicely to my next question when you talk about him being an entrepreneur. Would you buy a waterbed?
Probably at the time, yeah.
They were massive at the time.
Would you have one now?
No, I'd feel sick. They were massive at the
time.
I
think they look brilliant.
They're not.
Yeah, you'd have one.
I'd want to try one.
Yeah, you feel constantly sick. Move over and you're giving it the full wave. But in the 70s, it was a big thing. Imagine, like, what would it be like? The NASA mattress you've got.
Yeah.
It's like the new thing. It's going to be amazing. It's like he says, you know.
Best night's sleep ever.
Yeah.
People are going to want to shag you on them. That's what they sort of like sold us, didn't they?
You know, black satin sheets and your waterbed.
Yeah.
And actually, it was a crap idea that used to burst. But that's what I love about, because that's Leonardo DiCaprio's dad, who's the waterbed salesman.
I saw that.
Isn't that fucking great?
He actually fucking did that.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
Yes.
He actually did that shit in the 70s.
Yes.
Sold them. So Paul Thomas Anderson's known that and got him in to do it.
It's brilliant, isn't it? And what I love is it's like the best stories of where I grew up, and it just happens to be LA. The most fucking incredible stories of the 70s, and I'm writing them all down. Like Sean Penn playing, you know, he's playing Alan Holden.
William Holden.
Jack Holden.
William
Holden, that's it.
Oh, is it Jack Holden?
He's Jack, but it's William Holden, the real guy. And then Tom Waits burns the shit out the golf course and he jumps out on a motorbike. It obviously fucking happened.
What happened is, the story of that and the motorbike is Evel Knievel was going to try and recreate a jump. So he went out to this golf course type thing, but he'd been drinking in the bar, and before he did the jump, he came off the fucking bike and crashed.
Brilliant.
That's what that story is.
I love the bit on the stunt when he calls the shot, slates it, and obviously no one's there. He's just there. And it's like all he knows. The only way I know to do this is the Hollywood way. Yeah. And he's like, chalk it.
Yeah.
My brother said, no matter where you are, wherever you live or wherever you are, there will be a story about that shop you're in, or your next door neighbour will have been the producer on X.
On something, yeah.
And they'll go, go and speak to the personal assistant of Seinfeld. Or, they used that bar in Battlestar Galactica, then it burnt down and they used it in, he said, the whole town.
Well, it's like living in a set.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what I thought was so brilliant about that. They just couldn't help. And the way the guy who owns the bar went, I'll get some chairs, let's burn them. Not going, what? Great idea.
I think Paul Thomas Anderson does a brilliant job of framing and his use of like bright lights and, you know, neon lights. Everything, it looks very, very... It's an aesthetically pleasing film, isn't it? Yeah,
he's the cine... They shot it on 35. He wanted to use film. He's credited as one of the cinematographers.
Yeah.
He used old lenses. He wanted to give it that feel. And also, the other feel he really gets is there's no fucking phones. So that's why they're running everywhere.
Yeah. They have to get to the place, yeah.
Just delve into more, Ben, there about the difference between shooting on film and not shooting on film.
So film is a burnt image. You're burning it onto something, onto celluloid through lens. Through the lens, the light is captured and burnt onto film. Digital is captured differently. And if you want to give it that 70s feel, you can do it, but there's a sort of group of filmmakers that are trying to... Tarantino shoots on film. I don't think you can properly ever replicate what that sense of seeing a film negative is compared with a digital negative. So all of your blockbusters, your Marvels, everything's all going to be on digital. They're going to be able to manipulate that image. But on a film image, whatever he's shooting, that is what he's shooting. However you light it is how it's going to come out. That's it. Whereas in a digital image, you can change that a lot. So there's sometimes, if you noticed it was dark, she'd walk into a bit of a room and it would be dark.
Yeah.
You know, a digital image, you could lift that up, maybe make it a bit lighter. But he wanted to give it that special feeling of, I think, of his childhood, of films of the 70s and 80s.
There's no room for error in a way, doing it on film. And also you get a real sense of, I've achieved that light, rather than I've achieved that light in an editing suite. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think if you want to give everyone the sense of it's not going to be, not necessarily, it's not going to be 35 takes, and don't worry, we can do this and this. And you're editing film, which is a much harder process as well. And, you know, and then I think what he does amazingly is weave all, like the fucking bit where they go and sell a bed to Barbara Streisand's boyfriend, and then he's fucking saying Streisand, and he thinks he's taking the piss.
You know, they didn't know it was going to be Bradley Cooper.
Oh, didn't they?
No. So on that scene, Cooper Hoffman and Alana Haim. No, it's Haim.
You've had this about 3 times.
I've had this, yeah.
Where he said it, you've corrected him,
Yeah.
and he's sliding. Do you know now he's gone? Do you know what, Price?
Oh, hold on.
That's what he's
You
done.
can't start having a poppet about pronunciation.
It's not me. It's Jack. I'll let you two have it out.
Pronunciation.
I'll let you two have it out.
It's spelled Haim, Haim, but it's pronounced Haim. Anyway, they're outside, and Paul Thomas Anderson's told them, he says, right, you're coming to sell a waterbed to some guy who's famous, all right? He's going to come out and he's going to speak to the scene. They're like, but where's the script? And they're like, don't worry, we'll get it together. We're just getting the amendments and everything now. Stand in these positions. They're like, okay. That's when they're out on the driveway.
Yeah.
They didn't know, but he's basically said, roll cameras. Bradley Cooper has walked out in that white fucking outfit, and he's just marched over to them both, and he's gone, all right, who's in charge here? Like that. So he turns around as Cooper Hoffman, he's like, me. And he's like, right, okay, you, yeah, I don't want any shit. You fuck up my house and I'm going to come after you and all your family. And he's like, do you know who I am? And he doesn't. So he just goes, yeah. And he's like, do you know who my girlfriend is?
Yeah. I like you.
Yeah.
You remind me of me.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then, you know, when they're in the truck,
Yeah.
they're in the truck and they've just seen his car or something. They've just fucked up his house, basically, haven't they? With the water.
Yeah.
They're driving down the hill and then he comes walking towards them, yeah? So he gets in the van. All that is ad-lib, because all that's Bradley Cooper. All that is him just trying to guess and he's going, are you two going out? You two boyfriend, girlfriend, and all this? And he's like, how old are you? And if you listen, she says 28. But at the beginning of the film, she tells Cooper Hoffman she's 25. Now, I picked up on that she said 28, and then she went, I mean 25. And that's because she's so nervous, she told Bradley Cooper her real age. Because it's not scripted. She just went 28, and then went, I mean 25. And when he said, when are you born? She said, oh, December. And he's like, December what? And she gave her real birthday. So December 15th is when she's born. She's 28.
And he goes on about the star signs and stuff.
Yeah. Because
very
she just said
good.
her actual birthday because she panicked and didn't know what to say. And she was so nervous about working with him. But yes, she did
Then
all
he leans over and helps
Yeah,
us
exactly.
see.
She's no idea what's got... But she's driving that truck down the hill.
She's driving it properly.
That's not got power steering.
No,
but it's brilliant. She's driving the truck. And then there actually was an oil crisis.
Yeah.
In the States, so people did run out of petrol.
That fucking scene where he gets his lighter out and he goes, give me the nozzle. And he gets his lighter out.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
just mental. Such an unhinged character.
And then just as they smash up the Ferrari, he's got to go down the hill, and the truck runs out of fuel. I just thought, that's fucking brilliant. Because you're shitting yourself. You're thinking he's going to come back and go fucking loopy. But he's real. That character's real, John Peters.
Then she reverses the truck in neutral down a hill.
Yeah.
which she actually did.
She actually did. It's probably another fabled kind of LA story. Where someone goes, yeah, they ran out of petrol and they had to freewheel it all the way down. Because it is all hills. Where my brother lives, it's all hills.
From West Hollywood up to the Hollywood sign is just snaking roads, innit?
Yeah, and they've obviously gone into Hollywood to do the water, but because my brother said that's another thing, is people from Hollywood wouldn't go over into the valley. So that's why he can flood their house, because he thinks, I'll never see you again. You're never coming over to the valley.
Paul Thomas Anderson told the story, what his plans were of John Peters in the film, to John Peters in real life.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, wanting to know what his opinion was. What would he do in this situation? He said, I don't think I would have been as hard and as harsh to Gary Valentine. I don't think I would have been that nasty to him in the beginning, but I definitely would have hit on her 100%.
Just so we're all clear, that bit you got exactly right.
Yeah.
One thing I did like that I thought was used really well in this film is like quite a lot of steady cam tracking shots of, you know, bringing movement, whether he be running, walking, taking him through busy crowds. There's a lot of one-shot movements, isn't there, of walking through busy places, whether it be when he's at the like sales convention, whether it be him walking down the street into the, you know, through the school, the opening shot.
I think what he wanted to give that feeling is that the 70s was mixed with that. You go to a public phone, you ring the house, and then you're running everywhere. There's always movement. To get around LA and to get around the valley, you're going to be on a bike, or you're going to get in someone else's car, or you're going to have to run to find them. So that he gave that really, it's really lovely when he was cutting between them all running for each other all the time. The guy who plays, you know, there's this whole subsection where she realizes she doesn't want to be with Gary Valentine and she wants to go into politics, and the politician. He's the director. Him and his brother did Uncut Gems. They directed Uncut Gems. It's Benny Safdie. So that was brilliant. I mean, that's a whole subplot, and he's a big director. So he just got his mate to play it, but he did Uncut Gems. So it's like got his mates in as well. But I love that bit as well, that kind of subsection plot where she tries to get...
There's sort of references to Taxi Driver, isn't there, with that journalist who's hanging outside the sort of political campaign guy's sort of like office. And he's obviously got a bit of a scoop inside information that he's gay. And they're going to obviously like release the story. That's the vibe I got anyway.
Yeah.
And then obviously he turns up at the restaurant with his friend and sees the journalist, and then that's when he rings her as like the decoy, doesn't it? I really liked that scene, although it was sort of, it's over and done with and it's a cough and a spit and it's nothing. But I really felt for that guy, you know, for the boyfriend of the guy.
I did.
And he's sort of like, what?
I thought it was a very honest scene.
Yeah.
It could have been not honest. That's what I loved about the film, is the interactions were honest, and I felt a lot of pain for both of them.
When he walks her home and he's like, bless you, Alana, you're a really nice person. And then he's like, have you got a boyfriend? She's like, no, I don't know. And he's like, why? And she's like, I don't know. And he just says, is he a shit? And she says, yeah. And he goes, they all are, aren't they? And she's like, yeah. And then everybody else watching it is like, yeah, they're shits, but what are you going to do?
And then they do that great bit where they've got to run to find each other.
Got to run to each other.
Got to run. There's no phones, and he's open a pinball. But I agree, Jack. I thought that scene was very, very beautifully measured, and had something in it as well. A statement in it.
Right, well, let's take a quick break there then, and we'll come back and we will give our ratings for Licorice Pizza. Back from the break. Ratings time. Ben, it is your film, so you start us off.
I really love this film. I don't think it's a 10, it's not up there, but I think what he's done and captured in a film is really, really quite hard to do. He's got a real lightness, he's got some mad stories in there, he's got some beautiful performances. I just thought it was a real, it was a film where it takes a real confident director to fit that many things in and still play a through line of being in LA, of still playing a through line of a romance that isn't one. I mean, it isn't one for the whole film to the end. I loved the performances. I thought they were extremely real. And yeah, I just thought as a film, it just reminded me so much of like what it must have been like amazing growing up in the 70s in that way. And I thought Cooper was really brilliant in it. And I don't think many people would have got the money to make it. I think he's a director that can make that kind of film, because it's not an obvious box office. I don't think it did very well at the box office.
No, I think it cost 40 million, and it only made 35 million. So it made a loss of 5 million.
It was a big Oscar nom, wasn't it?
It got a few Oscar noms, yeah.
Yeah.
Did Cooper Hoffman not? Did he win?
No.
Did it not win any?
Don't think so. I don't think it is that kind of film to win. But I just thought, like you were saying, the look of the film, the shots, it felt like old Hollywood. I just think... And then he managed in that to not make it completely trite. So there was still I can't go halves or whatever. So...
You can. That's just a rule you...
No, I've made, because you'll do 7.224. I think I would have...
If you start halving, do you think I'm going to half my half?
Yeah, you'd go to infinity. It would get so small... You'd go 9.986. So I'm going to go... It's either... I'm going to go 8.
You can go 0.5s. I thought you said you were doing 0.5.
No, I'm not doing that this series. I'm going to go 8. It was probably about 7.5-ish. But I think it's better than a 7.
Jackie P?
Yeah, there was one more bit of trivia that I just wanted to get in that I didn't have time to get in.
You're obviously proud of this because you got a smile on your face.
It is a good one. It is a good one. What strikes me as Paul Thomas Anderson seems like a really, really cool director and someone that you could really easily get on and have a really good working relationship with.
Oh, his wife's the casting director.
Oh, really?
You know when Gary has to do that advert?
Yeah. Oh,
and she's looking a bit like he's... Yeah, and she looks like he's a bit old.
It's
his wife,
and the costume don't fit. That gave me flashbacks of child actor.
Yeah, like when you used to walk in the room and they go, "Oh, Coulson!
Oh,
wow, you're huge!
Haven't you grown?"
Yeah. I used to wear the same T-shirt with each casting director. So I had a T-shirt that I used to wear for Hubbard, a T-shirt that I used to wear for Gold, and etc., etc., etc. So I kind of always look the same. Don't know why, just did.
That was my thing.
Yeah, didn't fucking work, did it?
T-shirt guy.
Yeah. Hey, didn't you have that on the last time? Yeah. So what was your fact, Jack?
No, basically, you know the bit where she shows him her breasts.
Yeah.
The scene where she shows him her breasts. Okay, so that scene's coming up, and she slaps him. Yeah. So she shows the breasts, and then he says, "Can I touch him?" And she slaps him across the face. Now he wasn't expecting it, right? She just did it in the take, and his reaction was really good. But they had to go again for technical reasons, right? So they went, "Oh, we're going to do it again. That was great. Do it exactly the same." But this time, trying to get the same thing, he was so apprehensive of the slap. He was expecting the slap, and Paul Thomas Anderson could tell. So he's like, "No, I know you're expecting it now. Get it out your head, Anyhow, they're going a few takes, and he couldn't. So he's still noticing that he was expecting this slap. He says, "Right, I'm going to change the scene. You asked to see her breasts. She says no. And what you end up doing is you both hug, okay? And you have a close, intimate hug, and that's the end of the scene. No slap." So she went, "Right, okay, rehearse the hug. Great, works, fantastic. Roll camera. Just before they went action, he went up to a line of ham and he went, 'Fuck all that, slap him.' Right?" And he went, he's gonna have it in his head now. He's expecting a fucking hug and just fucking slap him. So they went action. So then he goes, "Can I touch your breasts?" Go into embrace for a hug, and she fucking slaps him. So that's the take. I thought, that's fucking genius. As a director, that's genius. You can't get something, change it, and then subtly go back and change it the other way so that you get the same thing.
It must have been a great set to be on.
But that girl, the band as well, like all of her sisters, that is literally just their relationship, just how they all are, and like act with each other. And they all used to babysit Cooper Hoffman as a kid.
Oh, did they?
Because they would go, because they've had a relationship with Paul Thomas Anderson all their life.
Yeah.
Because their mum used to teach him at school, right? And he's all directed their music videos. Paul Thomas Anderson directs all their music videos. So they used to always just go over to his house to chill out. And while they were over there, Philip Seymour Hoffman was over there talking about a film with Paul Thomas Anderson. And he brought his son along, who was like 9 years old. So they used to babysit him at Paul Thomas Anderson's house when Paul Thomas Anderson was working on a film with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, wow.
So when he told them about the idea for the film, they went, great, but who's going to be Gary Valentine? He went, I can't find anyone.
Yeah.
And then he said, what about, go with me, what about Cooper, who you used to babysit? And they went, fucking great, let's do it.
That's brilliant.
So he's just got all of his mates.
How did he pick which sister?
Because she was the naturally one better actor, I think. She was the one who had a bit more of an interest in the acting and in the music videos.
She's really good.
Yeah.
She's really good because she immediately, you know what she's thinking. She's really good.
But yeah, I loved it. It had elements of Harry Met Sally, even like at the end, you know, when they're running towards each other.
And he falls over.
Yeah. So I think I'm with you, Ben. I think I'm going to go 8, I think. I didn't get that emotional pull that I do from like a rom-com. But then I suppose it isn't that until the end, in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's good. Mad stories. I'm really pleased he made it. Difficult to make as well, with the times and everything with COVID, because I think it got stopped, didn't it?
Yeah.
But really good. It looks like they had great fun making it. Great cast. So yeah, I'm going to go 8 as well.
I mean, when Sean Penn's on that motorbike, you see he's absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
Like I said, first time I watched it, I did really like it. I feel like on the second rewatch, I kind of I missed something, and I think it's the story that I kind of lose a little bit with. I like the little break-offs. I like the characters. You like Gary Valentine. You like Bradley Cooper. I think it looks great. I really like the style. You feel like you're watching something. It kind of. It fantasizes that 1970s Hollywood and America, but I just feel like the story probably did just lack something from it, and I think
that's the point, though. I don't know if there is one really in a way.
That's the point.
It's a bit too all over the place for me.
Okay.
I suppose it's a different way of viewing film. It's a journey of the time through their lives.
Yeah.
It's not a beginning, middle, end as such. That's the whole point. It's like a dream state of the 70s, of Gary's life.
I might have liked it more if it was a dream state of like the early 2000s, if it was something that I could maybe relate to more. I just don't know, but I'm going to go 6.5, which you're going to feel is very harsh.
Oof.
I just don't know. I just don't know.
Clearly don't. 6.5. 6.5.
You said it was a fucking 7.5. It's only one off.
Hold on. I didn't give it that. I gave it an 8. I'm just walking about 6.5. That's fucking horrible.
Look, you win some, you lose some.
What do you mean? It's not a winning, but I mean, that's
it.
I haven't lost anything. I've just eaten a sandwich full of Mr. Turd. Good night, Mr. Turd on there. 6. Hold on, what did you say?
6.5.
6.5. You gave blended 6.4. You gave over the hedge 6.
Look, I've said that I didn't like the story, and I need story. That's the films I watch. I require story.
Do you fuck? We watched Over the Edge, you fucker.
22.5.
You require story. Fucking Papadopoulos and son. We bought a zoo. I require story, Ben.
It's how I work.
It's how I work. I require the big stories. I require someone trying to buy a chip shop.
22.5. Take it or leave it. I think you should take it.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, if you're on your way to the live show now,
do you not think 22.5 is fair to take?
It's a big shit pie.
I don't think it is, because because what's the difference? If I went 23.5,
it's above Inside Out, same as Gone Girl.
Where's it
stands? What did you say? It stands below
22.5.
Inside Out, above just above Monster.
Yeah.
It's above Monster.
Monster might be a little bit better, actually. Anyway, it's time for Double Jack now to kind of bring back some sense of calm and order. Yep, because it's Jack's hidden gem, and it is Jack's film choice.
Okay, hidden gem first. Now, this is a good hidden gem because this came out.
As in,
it's a good
as in the
watch
rest
list.
of shit.
As in, it's a good watch, or it's actually hidden and a gem?
It is actually hidden, actually, and it is a gem, and it's one that you kind of should have seen. It came out 5 years ago, 2017. It's a doc. It's over 2 hours. I think it's about 2.5 hours long. So you can watch it in sections. It doesn't actually matter, but it's a one-off thing. It's on Sky Documentaries, so it's also on Now TV. It's Steven Spielberg doc, basically. Yeah, Jane Danson put me onto this at work. She said, watch it. It's right up your street. It basically goes through Spielberg's career, but even before that, it talks about where he grew up, his mum and dad, his sisters, why he's a filmmaker, why he got into directing, how he started out filming television, filming Columbo and stuff like that, then making his first feature, going on to Jaws, and then obviously Spielberg that we know through the 80s with Indiana Jones, E.T., Goonies, moving on to Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List, all that. And it's literally just follows the full spectacle that is Spielberg. Really interesting, and you just see how ahead of his time he was, but then also not. Also, just taking ideas from other people as well and just putting them into his own to make his own films. Really good watch.
What's it called?
Spielberg.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy.
Jack, you got 2 picks left in this series.
Oof.
Oosh.
Oosh. Well, I can't think what to watch, but I'm going to go big. I've been meaning to pick this for a while. Ben's going to say I'm chasing ratings. He's going to say
are. I know you are. It's going to be something like The Shining or something.
It's The Shining.
You fucking what? You've chased those ratings so hard you run into the back of them.
It's
good pick.
I thought, fuck it, I've not got anything. What have I got?
I've not got anything. I've looked at all the films. I've got nothing. I've got to go for a small film. You might not have heard of it. It's a hidden gem. It's called The Shining.
It's a big film for you, though, isn't it, Jack? It's a film that
is a big film.
You love.
I thought you would have left that for the end.
No, I mean it's literally. I've not. I mean, I only found out it was my section like 5 minutes ago, so I'll just go that. I'll go that.
So next week we're watching The Shining. You might be joining us tonight, where we're talking all things Lion King, or you might want more So Cinema Club, and you might be kicking yourself not to have made the trip over to Manchester. And if you are kicking yourself and you do want more So Cinema Club, well, why don't you jump on board and get on our Patreon now? Patreon is our paid-for subscription platform where we have extra Sofa Cinema Club available for you. And as you know by now, if you sign up to Patreon, you get a job in our film studio /cinema. And, these jobs are...
shit.
Interesting.
We're going to meet a load of people with shit jobs on the live show, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And we're getting bigger as a company, as a brand, and we're constantly having to develop. And we're basically fighting to survive, aren't we, Jack?
Yeah, we are fighting to survive.
And when you're fighting to survive, you need...
No. I'm just building some more backstory into it.
All right, okay.
So we have like a research department, and we've kind of got someone who's into history, into almost historical artifacts as such. One thing that we kind of have subbranched it to, this is going to really annoy Ben, because when you talk about making it so obvious. Chief coin collector goes to David Coyne.
Shite.
David Coyne is the chief coin collector.
Head of finance, David Coyne.
Nah.
Head of finance.
But head of finance is, one, we've got one, and two, David Coyne can, if I say we're doing a 1920s period piece,
he's all over it.
Jack, it's money well spent on David Coyne, literally. Coins well spent.
That's terrible.
And I've got another job as well, just before I hand over to Jack, who Jack's going to do the other two. It's an interesting one. So summer's coming, yeah. It's getting hotter. And as you know, we've got quite a big canteen. The canteen's putting a lot of stuff out. And yeah, summer fruits. So now it's time to get someone to concentrate on the berries on our salad bar and fruit bar. Taking the role of head of summer fruits is Cara Asbury. Head of summer fruits.
Well
do you get it? Berry.
I get it. Yeah.
Do you like that one?
Right. Now he's left me the two most difficult, right? So these are tricky. These are ones that you can't think, ooh, easy job. But one is I need help with picking my hidden gems because they're becoming few and far between, and because they're difficult and I can't think of up on my own, I need Oshlad to help me because them, he or her are the perfect person to help. Oshlad, you're head of hidden gems with me, so thank you for all your help. Next, we have... what have we got for this? Andrea Maguire.
I could do this one if you really want.
Go on then. If you've got one.
So, big role. Big role.
Have you got one?
Yeah,
Go
big
on.
role. We're now doing quite a lot of work overseas, and we're doing a lot of work in Rome. And because Lizzie McGuire the movie was so successful in Rome, our head of Rome office is going to Andrea Maguire.
I mean, that is so...
Oh, shit.
What,
Head of Rome.
The Emperor.
Head of the Emperor. Head of Rome, Julius Caesar.
They'll all be saying, why has he never picked Lizzie McGuire for the podcast? And there's a reason why, isn't there?
Andrea won't let us.
No, do you not remember?
Oh, no.
It was our pilot
did it.
episode, wasn't it? Liz McGuire, the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be released to Patreons.
Well, I think it's probably been burnt and forgotten about that one. That's all we've got time for on this week's Sofa Cinema Club. If you come in tonight, I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope we're good.
Yeah, so do
And
I.
I hope
Yeah.
you enjoy it. So see you on Monday for Extraterrestrial, and see you on Thursday where we're talking all things The Shining and debriefing live at the Lowry. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.